Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charleston, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, I got a pretty interesting one for you guys, and the topic is, did Kevin Durant secretly take a shot at Kawhi Leonard when nobody was looking? So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, make sure you check out Dreamerspro Max, a sports community place you can talk about basketball, chat live during games. We have that linked in the comments section. Also, make sure you click the join button to become a member of the channel. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. So it's a pretty interesting topic, and I'm sure no one picked up on. Now, as far as picking up on it, we haven't seen anyone publish a video on this yet. So we said, hey, why not be the first ones to it? So going into every NBA season, we all know how it works, right? For those of us that have been fans of the NBA for a number of years now, we all know how it works. Going into the offseason, teams make different moves and all of these different things. Players are signed, players are traded. And then going to the season, we all go into a season kind of making our early season predictions. We think these are the teams that are going to be in the NBA Finals. If you look at some of the major networks right now and websites out there, they're already making their predictions right now as we currently speak. I think a lot of people have the Lakers and the Brooklyn Nets right now in the NBA Finals right now. That's the early season picking because that's what we tend to feel. That's generally how it works. And going into the playoffs, that's when we really start to solidify our positions and really take a strong position on the teams that we feel are going to come out of each respective conference. Last year, I know a lot of the teams, a lot of the people going into the playoffs, a lot of people picked the Brooklyn Nets to come out of the Eastern Conference. And in the Western Conference, most people had the Lakers. I had either the Lakers or the Clippers coming out of the Western Conference to represent the West to go into the NBA Finals. But obviously, as the playoffs progressed, what happened? The thing that always happens every single year, injuries, right? Every single year in the NBA playoffs, there's always an injury to some player. Now, last year was a little bit strange because there was so many injuries to key players, but it's nothing new. Every single year, players get injured going into the playoffs and during the playoffs, and therefore it usually changes the path or usually changes our predictions. Teams that we thought would make it probably usually don't make it, and so on and so forth, right? This is nothing new. This is nothing new at all. And last season, we saw that, right? And it ended up being the Phoenix Suns, who were probably the healthiest teams. They were the healthiest team that was the best. They were, of all the good teams, they were the healthiest team that was left of all of the possible good teams in the Western Conference. And in the Eastern Conference, you saw injuries to the Brooklyn Nets and other teams. And ultimately, we had the Milwaukee Bucks in the NBA Finals. And ultimately, the Milwaukee Bucks ended up being victorious. And Giannis Antetokounmpo put forth one of the greatest single game performances. Well, he had an amazing NBA Finals, but he put forth one of the greatest single game performances you will ever witness in an NBA Finals game. Let's just face it. That performance that he put forward, that 50-point double-double, hitting 17 out of 19 free throws when we know that's not his forte. I mean, he was just a monster on all sides of the floor, and he really solidified himself in NBA history as far as, now being a champion. If you look at his last 4 years of his career, it's been absolutely stellar. 2 regular season MVPs, a defensive player of the year, NBA championship, and a finals MVP. You're going to be hard pressed to find somebody that had as an impressive run over a 4-year period as Giannis Antetokounmpo did. So that was pretty remarkable for him. But recently, I've been hearing some comments from people saying, if the Brooklyn Nets didn't get injured, even me, even in our case, if Kawhi Leonard didn't get injured, and all these different things. And we understand this, but I try to stay away from arguments like that because you know what? We don't need to just stop it this year. We can go back. We can just keep going back and back and back and back, right? And I feel like a lot of times we only bring that up when it suits us. Well, if this player didn't get injured, my team would have won, right? But it's not just you that thing is happening to. And I was listening to an explosive interview that really was able to get a lot of attention on different media circuits. Was an interview between Draymond Green and Kevin Durant, a long interview. It's a pretty interesting interview. And at one point, Draymond Green asked Kevin Durant about his time with the Golden State Warriors and the year he got injured in the finals and how he felt like he would win. So before I go too far, maybe some of you people missed it. I want you guys to take a listen to some of the comments that Draymond Green and Kevin Durant made as it pertains to the NBA Finals that he got injured. So take a listen to that.
You didn't do 3 years there, 2 championships, would have been 3 had you not got hurt.
Easily.
But in my opinion, after year 2, you were over it. You were done with it. and you were on to the next thing. But we had the opportunity to three-peat. And in my mind, what brought you back to Golden State for year 3 was just the opportunity to three-peat, but it didn't feel right for you no more. Am I right, wrong?
That's interesting because a lot of people, that's just a talk around me the last few years, and I get.
Now, in that soundbite, he said, in this case, Draymond Green, he said he felt as if Kevin Durant didn't get injured, they would have won the NBA championship. And Kevin Durant, concurred with him and said, absolutely, it would have been, easily. And I took a little bit of issue with that. Here's the reason why. Again, we don't need to stop at just last year. I mean, in this case, in 2019, we don't need to just go there. There's so many instances in which certain players have gotten injured and it has benefited the other team. We don't need to go too far than to look at the same Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant in 2016, when they went to the NBA Finals and beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. Do y'all remember before they got to the finals who they played in the Western Conference Finals? Do you guys remember the team that they were played in the Western Conference Finals? That team that they played in the Western Conference Finals, I believe, was the San Antonio Spurs, if I'm not mistaken. They were playing against the Spurs. Up until that point, the Golden State Warriors were putting the beat down on the Western Conference teams. A beat down. Then they meet the San Antonio Spurs with Kawhi Leonard. I think Tim Duncan was there. Tony Parker was there. But Kawhi Leonard at that time, maybe not Tim Duncan. I think LaMarcus Aldridge, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, he was there. I think Tim Duncan was out. I don't remember well. And Kawhi Leonard and the Spurs were putting a massive beat down on the eventual NBA champions in the Golden State Warriors. They had them down 20 plus points by halftime. Let me put this into context. No team was able to have a double-digit lead like that on the Golden State Warriors that entire playoff run. When they got to the NBA championship, the Cleveland Cavaliers never had a 20-point, 15-point lead on that team, if I'm not mistaken. They were beating the brakes off of them, and then what happened? Zaza Pachulia happened. Zaza Pachulia stepped under Kawhi. I think he did that on purpose. Stepped on Kawhi Leonard's foot. Basically, Jalen rosed him. Kawhi Leonard lands on his ankle, and it was the second time that happened in that game, and he was gone, and then the Spurs ended up getting swept. I can make an argument, and some people can, that had Kawhi Leonard not gotten injured, they would have beat the Golden State Warriors. Now, some people said that's impossible. Well, how do you know that? Up until that point, the Spurs were showing that they were the better team. And this is the reason why I hate going back and trying to relitigate the past. I don't like that, because you can find so many instances where teams have benefited from injuries. I'm talking about teams that ultimately went on to win. And I said this, and I think a lot of people don't take this particular aspect into success, right? Not just in sports. People don't factor in luck or good fortune. People don't factor that in. I think a lot of people just feel like, okay, this is just on my merits, and it's all my hard work. And no, luck plays a role. Any successful person will tell you, luck is always a factor. Certain things need to break your way. That's just the reality. So it's not about, I'm successful solely because of me. Sometimes luck plays a role. And in that instance, it benefited the Golden State Warriors, who went on to win the NBA championship. That's just what happened. So that's why I don't like to get into the whole thing of, James Harden got injured and Kyrie. Yes, they got injured, but at the same time, we're not gonna minimize what Giannis Antetokounmpo accomplished, because that's not Giannis's business. Giannis can't control other players getting injured. All he can control is what he can control. Giannis can only play who is in front of him. And that's the reason why I just thought it was absolutely ridiculous that people were out here talking about, Giannis, and the guy went out there and accomplished it, and he beat who was in front of him. It's not his business. His business is to do his best and make sure his team advances, not to ensure that the other team advances and he gets to. That's not his job, right? And that's why I thought that, I thought it was unfair to Giannis Antetokounmpo. A lot of people say, Giannis Antetokounmpo was a beast. Okay, he went out there and he was on beast mode time, and he went up there and he did his thing, right? So I think that KD was trying to say, oh yeah, would have easily beat them. Well, I didn't see that easiness happen when he was playing against the San Antonio Spurs. I didn't see that easiness. Right now, do I think that Kevin Durant is taking a shot at Kawhi Leonard in this, in the aspect of, okay, he doesn't respect him? Absolutely not. Because I saw an audio recently where Kevin Durant, I think, was on Hot 97, and he was talking about Kawhi Leonard. He was basically saying Kawhi Leonard is that dude, right? He was explaining what makes it so hard to play against Kawhi Leonard. So I think KD has a lot of respect for Kawhi Leonard. Something that he had no choice but to give up to him, because I think at one point in Kawhi Leonard's career, I heard Kevin Durant say that Kawhi Leonard is just a system player. Well, that championship he won in Toronto, if it's the case that you airdrop somebody into a system, and in the first season they win an NBA championship, a team that had not even been to the NBA championship ever, and then you take that team to the NBA Finals and they win, I think he's a pretty good system player, right? So I think KD has a lot of respect for Kawhi Leonard as a basketball player, because how can you not? I mean, the guy has the #1 winning percentage in NBA history, and he did something that very few have done, which is be the man on a championship team and win an NBA title, with just another All-Star. So, you got to give Kawhi Leonard his props for that. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I know a lot of people picked up on that comment when KD said it, and I just like, come on, man. We can all, like, there's so many teams that can say if or coulda, shoulda, and I think a lot of people like to argue in this if. We gotta focus on what happened. Like, we can't talk about if, right? I like that girl. If she only gave me her number, we might be married now, but she did. So let's focus on what actually happened, and let's stay in reality, and let's not focus on what ifs and all of the, all those different things. So those are my thoughts and opinions. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day. Catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.